And I am very pleased to welcome to the 2025 edition of Statehouse Conversations, Republican Representative Jeff Thompson, Republican of Liston, District 28. I've been around a long time, and I'm privileged to have known some grand figures in this. And if I could take a moment, your father was a public servant, a member of the General Assembly.
Yes,
He was in office when I first started here, back a long time ago. He just passed at age 90.
Right.
Since the last session, adjourned sine die. So I just wanted to say that. Our condolences.
We appreciate that.
One of the grand figures of public service.
Thank you.
How are you going to live up to his memory this session? You are, all kidding aside, the eye of the storm. You are the chair of the Budget Writing House Ways and Means
Correct.
Committee. The Indiana Constitution says all revenue bills have to start.
Yes, they do.
Go find who wrote that back in 1851
Right.
and say, what are you thinking?
Right.
All eyes are on you.
Right.
So what are you doing?
Well, trying to gather information. The more information, trying to understand the whys. It's a process. It's a process that won't end with the House passed version. The Senate will make some tweaks, I guess we'll say, and then we'll have conference committee and get a new revenue forecast, and we'll work through it. Can't say where we'll land at, but we'll land someplace because we're required to do that.
That's right. And not since the Civil War has the state entered a fiscal year without a budget.
That's right.
I think came close. I remember, here I am aging myself again, back in 93, it was
that's
June
right.
30th, I believe, before
Yes, it was,
a budget came together. So in the listening phase right now, are you liking what you're hearing? And we should say that the April forecast or update, that'll really be the telling
Right.
thing. But we had the December numbers that came out and said, some new money in the first year of the biennium, some in the second, but less.
Yeah,
less.
quite a bit less, yeah.
You guys are accustomed to giving what leaders often describe as historic increases for education and public health. Is that possible, do you think, this time around?
I mean, not historic. I suspect there will be some increases. To what degree? But I think most people understand that we're in a situation where we don't have a lot of new revenue, and the expectation really set a pretty low bar in terms of compared to past years.
And it's one factor that, should we say, is a complicating factor this year, property tax revenue. A lot of Hoosiers are still sort of trying to get up off the floor with the smelling salts after they opened their property tax assessment bills. That's a complicating factor because even though it's not state money, we should point out property taxes aren't going into your proverbial pocket, or it goes back to the counties and local government, but still it's part of the puzzle.
That's right, it is, that's right.
So how do you work that all out so that everybody wins in the end? Simple proposition. Everybody wins in the end.
Yeah, there'll be some short-term things on property taxes. Talk to Senator Holman. We'll work through those. The longer-term issue is this one here. In too many parts of the state, this is true. Not all now. If a local unit of government raises a tax rate, people pay no more. And if they lower the tax rate, they pay no less. Now, that's kind of an interesting statement, isn't it? But it's true for lots of taxpayers. And so how do you go to a system where if you raise the tax rate, you pay more, lower it, you pay less? And to get there is a longer-term type of solution that is a better way to govern.
And there was a 2-year task force that met, kind of came back, I guess was a month or two back. Maybe more than 2 years are required to skin this cat, I suppose.
Oh, some of those will take several years, but become basically a property tax issue type of report in that committee.
And in the short term, in the 4 months that lie before us, the likely solution you're suggesting is that there'll be some property tax relief of the kind perhaps that you and your caucus or the governor have talked about, maybe whether that's rolling back to 2021 levels, pre-COVID levels, or maybe some suggest additional assistance to those who were up in years, any number of approaches, but not a sea change, not a throw out the sink this session.
No, I don't see that, but there will be some things to help those taxpayers that have seen a significant amount of increase. And where we land at, right now I'm not sure, but we'll find that spot. We always do.
And the other sort of, again, there are always, well, I was going to say a million factors, probably 44.5 billion factors that complicate the budget, which is roughly the size of the budget. But Medicaid, anybody who picks up a newspaper, turns on a newscast, knows that is the fastest growing part of the state budget. Used
Yes,
to
it
be the big fish, and still is, K through 12 of education got more than 50%, but as Medicaid has come up more and more, it's complicated post-COVID. During COVID, the federal government was paying 3/4 of it. Now it goes back to 2/3.
That's right.
Enrollment, however, in the state is still up. There was a miscalculation, an unexpected shortfall, so we say last year of $1 billion. That makes your job. Now you not only wake up 2 in the morning with bad dreams. Now it's 1 in the morning and 3 in the morning. Is that and how do you sort through that?
I mean, we'll find what we can do in terms of how can we control any cost. To what degree can we even do that? We know we have a lot more people on Medicaid, and we'll have to find that right spot. But we do know about 500,000 more people on than there was 4 or 5 years ago. So it's just the sheer number has increased, and some complex reasons why, but we'll deal with that too.
And this business lends itself to quick solutions. I mean, because you run every 2 years, your Senate counterparts run every 4 years. It's a biennial budget. In the business world, every quarter counts. A lot of these solutions, it seems to me, when you're talking about property taxes, when you're talking about making Indiana healthier, and I suck my own gut in as I say this, to lower healthcare costs long term. How do you tell Hoosiers and your colleagues on the one hand, this is a long-term process and sort of truly a decades-long process, when in fact you have pressure to show immediate return?
And you probably got to do both. Is work on the short term to take care of what's right in front of you, but likewise at the same time look out 10 years. In my mind at least, always trying to think what's the best policies 10 years from now. How do you set on the right course? I may not be here, but that's okay, because this is about Hoosiers at large and the future.
You'll be here. We know it, as we said at the top of the show, they're good genes. Before I let you go, I know all eyes, as far as you're concerned, are, and rightly so, on the budget because of your chairmanship. Is there anything else this session, aside from the budget, that you want, that has to happen for you to be able to go back to Lewiston and say, my dear constituents, I can report we did good by you?
I think those two topics, the budget and property taxes, are the two.
As if that's not enough. That's all right. Jeff Thompson, Republican chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, Lewiston District 28. My hat's off to you for wrestling this bear to the ground, and a lot of eyes will be watching. But I know the budget is in good hands, and your father would be proud of what little boy's doing here. So again, Jeff Thompson, thank you for taking time to chat. Thank you for your commitment to the state of Indiana and your family's commitment to public service.
Appreciate that. Thank you.